Hello everybody and welcome back to this week's Channeled Energy Update. My name's Allison Holly and I'm a channel and I'm also an awakening guide, and I help people learn how to channel and step into their mastery. So each week I tune into the collective and I bring through a message that's going to help everybody move forward in the energies that we're experiencing. So let's dive into what we've got going on this week. First, I wanted to share with you that I'm doing this on my phone because my cat decided to chew the cord of my external video camera for my laptop. So I've ordered a new one, but hopefully the sound and video quality is a-okay. I want to explain a little bit before I dive into this week's message. And I want to explain a little bit about channeling specifically. When I go into this channeled space, I'm able to access many different realms. And when I tuned into the collective this week, essentially what I saw was a big divide, because the collective is actually looking very different depending on what frequency we're riding on, right? And we've got a big divide in what people are seeing and believing and feeling and experiencing in this world. There have been a lot of prophecies about this, that we would essentially be in two different worlds. And that was really strong this week. I know we've seen it before where that divide is really strong, but it was very interesting because when I go into the collective, and this happens really frequently, but this week it was more strong than what I've seen. When I go into the collective to channel a message from there, I had two very different messages come through. And the first thing that came through was war, that there are people preparing for war, that there is just this real energy of war coming through. And that was a little bit difficult. I think it's more difficult for me to communicate that with all of you than it is for me to see it, because that's in this realm over here. And I feel very, very connected to this realm over here. And I will say though, that I have been experiencing anxiety when I wake up and things like that, because there is so much energy going on in the collective. And there's so much for all of us to really be navigating through. So I just want to let you know that self-care is very important at this time, because there's a lot being kicked up. There's a lot of movement, and there are a lot of people who don't have the expanded perception of what's going on. And there's a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear being kicked up in people as a result of not being able to see the broader picture, right? And sometimes, like I said, even I get anxiety and I do see the broader picture, just because, we're all kind of going through this together. It's a big shift. So on the one side, I saw, this element of war, this feeling of war. On this side of the divide in the collective, what I saw was a lot of peace, actually. I saw this feeling of inner strength emerging, this feeling of peace, and, navigating the theme this week for people who are really kind of pushing it, or firmly in the new, not pushing anything, firmly in the new. The energy in this realm is one of discovering what's really important to us and being more grounded within that feeling of, this is important to me. I'm going to invest my energy in it, and I'm going to cultivate the magic and bring forth the magic from within that. So if you are feeling, if you're more allowing yourself to be free within, you've got that sovereignty, you've got that inner strength, you've been doing the work, cultivating that, you might be feeling more of this, which is, I'm a master, I'm here for mastery, here to create, and I'm discovering what's more important for me and how to cultivate that magic. If you're on this side where you're walking into the new, where you're really existing in the new, there's this expanded perception that's happening this week. And what I heard was, it's almost like night vision. Like you've got a completely new expanded ability to perceive reality that is opening up to us at this time. It's really beautiful. It's sort of this ability to allow ourselves to see beyond the horizon. That was another phrase that came through. Can I see beyond the horizon? And if we think about it, the horizon is really that line where usually our vision stops because the earth curves and so forth. So if we're seeing beyond the horizon, then we're seeing beyond what we've currently or previously allowed ourselves to see, and we've got this expanded sense of vision. So that's coming in this week too. So the key is to be anchored and grounded in these new energies and to really allow ourselves to feel calm in there. And the more that we feel calm in there, the more that we're going to be expanding into this new and creating from this new. And the more that we're anchored in the new, the more that we can actually bring people over from that fearful side, because it is very bright. It's very bright. And the truth is, even those who are afraid, even those who are actively working against the change and trying to be oppressive and things like that, even those people, everyone has this beautiful eternal light within, and that can be ignited when it sees light, right? So the light in me sees the light in you. That's a truth. That's a universal truth. So when we really let ourselves be anchored in this new, be calm and present in this new, knowing that we've got love and joy and freedom always within us, then all these other people start to see that light and they gravitate toward it and they're magnetized toward it. So that's really what we're doing this week. I have a message that came through and I want to just directly read it because it really speaks to this big divide and this experience that we're going through right now. So I want to read that. The more you can be in calm, the more you can bring people over to this side and have an even bigger creation within the new. Because the old is going to fall apart. It's going to fall apart whether we're all singing and dancing or not. And so we have to get comfortable with the things that don't work anymore falling apart and allowing ourselves to maintain our focus and our awareness in the present moment. And our joy and all the things that exist in this higher realm outside of the realms of time that are just timeless. And those are love, joy, peace, and freedom. It's all there. It all exists in the here and now. It's time for us to get used to the reality that the things that are no longer serving us and the things that cannot transform and come into the new with us are going to be falling apart. It's going to look messy. It's going to look destructive. It's just a reality of things falling apart. If you're having a hard time with it, go into that space within, and you might even want to tune into Kali energy, the great destroyer, creation of worlds through destruction. And this is really what we're seeing right now. Things fall apart because they can't exist in the new. So as we get more comfortable in this grounded space, we'll be able to say, hey, things are falling apart and I'm still okay because I exist in the new. In fact, the new is more real to me than anything outside of me. So I just want to leave that with you. I hope you have a beautiful week. If you would like to learn how to channel, that is something that I teach. I have a group. It's a private group, not on Facebook. It's called the True Creator Channeling School. It's a monthly membership community. And in this community, you can stay for a month, you can stay for 17 years. I would, of course, love for you to stay for 17 years, but there's no contract. And when you join this community, you get access to the video library of learning how to channel. We also meet once per week live in a Zoom group where we practice channeling. I dive into all the questions that you have, and I'm there with you through the process. Also, once a month, I channel a message for the collective. It's far more in-depth and beautiful, I think, than these channeled messages that are weekly, which in these channeled messages, as I said, I tune into the collective. And when I'm doing these collective channeled messages in the private group, I'm actually tuning more into the ET knowledge and I'm bringing through that. So it's really, really beautiful. I would love to have you in there. The link to join is in the description box below this video. And if you have any questions, reach out or leave a comment. I would love your likes, shares, and subscribes as well. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.